Bro,
What's up?
is running through his family really bad, and I've got like very minor symptoms, and I've had minor
Oh
symptoms
boy.
all week long. So I'm hoping that it just skates over me. But my kids had a fever for pretty bad shape, and then we just got a new puppy. So like, it's just it's crazy around here. Um, but how are things in Arkansas?
Cold as shit. Hold on, let me make sure I can got my heater turned up. Yep. All right. There's still an echo.
You got an echo?
I got an echo.
Hmm. I have no echo. Does anybody in the chat, can you hear an echo? Or is it just on Matt's end?
Is it just me?
Let me see. Maybe in settings we can do echo cancellation. See. Interesting.
How are we doing?
I just turned on echo cancellation. Is that better?
Is there anything there? Hey, no echo.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so folks, this has been a rough week, man. And I'm super scared because I have a huge job interview on Tuesday, and I'm like, if the flu hits me and I'm down for this interview, it's gonna really piss me off. But I'm trying to stay positive. And last week, I still have to go through all my papers and stuff to figure out where we're at. I think we made it through the list because I think the last little bit on the list was like time travel, alternate dimensions, and like we kind of brushed on all that stuff. Um, and I know that we talked about talking about Project Serpo, but I kind of wanted to wet everybody's beaks with that a little bit this week. And I was like, what's a fun topic that can kind of, I don't know, that's kind of open for debate, and there's really no, it's hard to do research on something that you don't know that's just a theory, and that's the simulation theory. We've all heard it. I hear it time and time again talking to, or not talking to, but when listening to people talk about flat Earth, and it almost is like a lead into um, when people argue with flat Earth people and they go, okay, well, what shape is the Earth then? Uh, the theory that the Earth is never ending and it's just an infinite plane. So it's like an infinite plane. And like
Yeah.
when you come from a school of being indoctrinated into thinking that the Earth is a globe and there's space and there's planets and it goes on forever, then theory naturally bullshit. But one of the smartest men in the world, I mean, arguably smartest men in the world, Elon Musk, seems to think that we live in a simulation. And when a guy that's smart like that says there's a 1 in a billion chance that this is not a simulation, like I had to look at that again and go, wait a second, did he say that there's a 1 in a billion chance this is or this isn't a simulation? So I queued that video up today, but I kind of just wanted to talk about some theories because that makes sense to me. With all the crazy things that happen on this planet, I would not be surprised if it was all a simulation. Now,
Right.
to what degree of simulation, I don't know. That's the ultimate question. But when I hear about Bigfoot tracks just disappearing into nowhere, dimensional things. Um,
Well,
eh,
y'all remember that game where you could like build a city and then you could like hit a button and disasters would hit?
yeah.
Y'all,
Oh, what was that? It
was it
was
like
like
precursor to The Sims or something? Wasn't it?
I think so. I vaguely remember.
What if we're just that game and we're just waiting
Yeah,
for some
yeah.
dipshit kid to hit the monster button?
I mean, it's very possible. I just the more and more I think about it, especially when you start getting into space and
It was called Sim City. Yeah, it's
space
called
and
Sim City.
was it SimCity?
Yeah,
Okay.
my ADD had to let me finish that one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
um, I just feel like there may be something there. Now, what is the simulation? Is it God? Is God the simulation? Were we created? Like, I've heard this theory that the whole idea of them hiding, and this is where the flat earthers come in, and you ask them, well, why would they lie to us about the earth being flat? And it's you hear this from some of these flat earthers, and they'll say because they don't want to know how special we act. And you start thinking about it, it's like, well, if
Hey,
God is real and we were created and there's nothing else out there, because like you think about space and how big infinity is, there has to be other shit out there. So I don't know. It's really a mind bending topic when you talk about the simulation theory, and I can't. Yeah, see, Lance says a lot of smart people, not me. A lot of smart people say there's a better chance that this is a simulation than base reality. 100%. Um,
yeah, I mean, I'll give you that one. But you know what? Those smart people are going to say whatever makes it work for them.
that's true. I mean, it may be easier for them to think that it's all a simulation than the God, or that for me, there's too much weirdness going on. I'm hardwired. I don't know what the hell's going on. Um, let me do something here. Let me drop. We're gonna go standard definition. There we go. We'll try that. Um,
Look at you trying to be all HD up in this.
that was 720. Okay, that's not that. That's not that much. We're looking good in
Man,
480. It's fine.
you guys remember when 720 was like world changing? And now they're like, we have 8K resolution on this television. Shut the fuck up. There is not a difference in the world. Like, I don't care what anybody says. There's not a difference.
Aaron says, if this is a simulation, what's actual reality? That's a great question. My God. I have like I said, it's a mind melting topic. Um,
It's still the 70s, and 426s are still found in the wild.
God, I would love that. Like, hey, whoever's in charge of this simulation, we've got some pretty cool shit. So, and we've had some pretty cool shit. It's just starting to get a little wonky. It's kind of like for 7 hours and you're just over it. So you just start doing dumb shit. And then finally, right before you just flip the table, that's kind of like where we're at right now. I know I've had those long
Agreed.
ass board games where it's like, fuck, I'm just over this shit, but you don't want to be that asshole. So you're waiting for somebody else to give in. And then you're like, fine, I'm just going to play like a dickhead. And then finally
Did
it's
you know
over.
the makers of Monopoly said like 95% of people don't play their game right?
Oh, I believe.
Apparently, there's a
I remember
normal
I've been
set of
playing it for
rules.
years and I go play with somebody and they're like auctioning shit off. A normal
Yeah.
set of rules. Hmm.
Actually, hey,
I
Scott, there's a show that broke this down. Hold on. Oh my God. Who would win, Silverback, Cocaine Bear? They actually did a show. Uh, can you guys still see me and hear me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Stupid heaters.
What happened?
My electric sucks.
It was a floating phone there for a second. It's like, what the hell's this?
Hold on. Hold on. Everybody just hang on.
While Matt works on his technical issues, personally, I think that a cocaine bear will win every Animal Kingdom fight there is. Um, Actually, God, man, those yeah, those animal fight videos are pretty savage, dude. That rabbit hole. But I was on YouTube the other night. And I went down this rabbit hole of savagery in the animal kingdom. Um, I saw this croc go into a herd of hippopotamus, take one out. That's one of the most dumb moves I've ever seen in the animal kingdom. This poor croc was getting thrown the hell around. Oh, and we have light. Matt is back. But like I sometimes like watching the news, I get all like depressed about how savage humans are. But you look in the animal kingdom, and they don't give a fuck. They will rip you to shreds. And I saw videos of these hyenas eating this, or like the hell it was. It was like some African buffalo or something. They were eating him from the ass forward while he was still alive. I was just like, oh my god,
Holy
how
shit! Speaking of Africa,
savage! And so they get like, yes, Doctor Matt.
bro, a fucking
What about
hippo
Africa?
ate a kid, and the village threw rocks at it and upset
What?
it, and
Oh,
it
spit
spit the
it,
kid
spit it
back
out.
up. He
Yes,
spit the kid back out alive.
alive. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah,
So hey
that's
guys, the
crazy.
electrical in my house is
Uh,
just garbage. So 2 heaters throws the breaker, and here we are.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's nuts. I did see that headline and I was like, you've got to be shitting me. What a story.
I
I
mean,
don't to like
just
watermelon and shit, but that kid is lucky.
just imagine you're a toddler sitting there minding your own damn business, and a hippo eats your ass, and then the village saves you, and you will forever be known as
By
the hippo kid.
throwing the hippo. Yeah. Wow. Look
So
what
yes,
Aaron said.
wow. So yeah, we're in a simulation.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah. Man,
Culver's. I don't even know what's
I think
Culver's.
we
I don't
might
even
be.
know. So anyway,
How you liking
how's everybody
Culver's,
doing?
Matt?
I don't know what
um,
Culver's is.
all right. Well, I go maybe depending on where we get in this conversation, because I told my wife is in a bad way right now. And I was like, "Can you last an hour with me going to do my show?" And she's like, "Yes, I can." So I was
All
like, "All
right,
right,
let's hit it. We're on.
we'll knock it out."
We are
So,
focused. Let's go.
I didn't realize that'll take us into the hour. So here we go. The first video. We have not done a Bigfoot video in a while. I don't think we've ever shared this one on the show, and I've been looking for one worthwhile. So I think this one might
Seems
be
cool.
worth discussing.
YouTuber Jimmy B uploads footage of wildlife he captures with his trail cams. One day, a camera of his captures something he has never seen before. A large creature walks across the camera. What do you think? Is this proof of the existence of Bigfoot? The strangest thing about this is 6 days after Jimmy B posted this video, 4 of his cameras go completely missing. These cameras have been up for over 3 years with no issues. Is this a coincidence? So many people have had run-ins with Bigfoot out in the woods. There has to be something out there. This is definitely a very interesting piece of Bigfoot footage. What do you think about this one? Is this footage of Sasquatch?
I don't trust anybody that looks like that.
Thoughts, Matt? I think there's a lag. I have a lag.
Okay, so there is a little bit of a lag.
Before I answer anything. Okay.
So I have a hard time with it because there's not any, like, he didn't go back and get scale for the video, you know what I mean? And like they
Yeah.
tried, like, that mineral block that's in that is huge. It is massive. Have you ever seen those mineral blocks before in person?
No.
Okay, so I have manhandled my fair share of those in my day because I mean, worked a cattle operation. They're about 50 pounds, but they're only like like this big. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So in that footage, that that mineral block is massive. So that's close to the camera.
Okay.
So without any real kind of scale, like how far away were those trees? You know what I mean?
Hard to say.
Like that could have been a normal ass dude walking through some saplings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was that's one of those videos where I'm like, okay. When he started talking about the backstory, like that's where I'm hinging and I'm like, all right, well, I hope the story part is true because it would be interesting if he gets this footage. And since that's all we have to go on. And from what I saw, I was like, I expect, unless it's a juvenile, I expect a full grown adult male Sasquatch to be kind of thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thicker than a Snickers. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I don't know. That one looked a little
It looked a little
story
small.
that he says where it's like, okay, he sees this thing and then all of a sudden his cameras start. Yeah. And he sees this thing and then all of a sudden his cameras start going missing. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's see some more footage and let's see some, some scale. Show me some scale. Show me some evidence that proves to me that it could be a Sasquatch.
Yeah, agreed.
My friend actually sent me a picture, or it's actually a video of drone footage in the woods, and it was super glitchy. And I was going to bring it on, but I decided not to just because I want to do a little bit more research and see if I can find the full video. Because I find it hard when somebody has the overhead drone footage and they see something like a Sasquatch and they start tracking it. Why they don't drop that fucking drone right down into that Sasquatch's face? Because, hey, you're in no danger. Perfect footage of a Sasquatch is with a drone.
So the answer to this question, some of them can be, but they're very expensive and they have to have their own cellular plan. So I mean, it's for an everyday guy that's just getting shots here and there. Sure, I mean it makes it makes sense to use a regular one. I mean, you'd have to be like a professional hunter or just an avid sportsman to even want to try to spend that kind of money. Just regular run of the mill guy, no, he's not going to have something like that.
Interesting. Let's watch this second video. So now I know that this has been brought up on the show before, Project Serpo. And there's two videos here that have to do with Project Serpo, total of about 11 minutes. The first one's a minute long, the second one's 10 minutes. But I think that they're very interesting when it has to do with the Roswell crash. So these were good at a little bit. So let's check it out.
T-47. Two craft crashed into Mexico. They collided, and one crashed near Corona, New Mexico, which is public record. The second craft crashed way out west of Magdalena, New Mexico, and that wasn't found until 2 years later. But the one that crashed in Corona, they also found a live alien. That live alien was named Eva, and he was transported to, it was a male, was transported to Los Alamos, where he lived out his life. He died in 1952. But during that time period that he was with us, he told us a plethora of information about what they have learned about the universe and what their technology is. Their technology is probably estimated to be about 50,000 years ahead of us.
Okay, so that's kind of the warm up to this next video. So
Okay.
let's jump right.
Today on Cosmic Disclosure, we are with Richard Doty, a retired special agent who served in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations and was intimately involved with UFO-related content. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Tell us about what you know about Project Serpo.
Well, Project Serpo actually is Project Crystal Night. In 2005, I was in a funeral in Washington, D.C. when a colonel came to me and said, "Rick, what do you know about Project Crystal Night?" And I said, "I don't think I've ever heard of it. What is it?" And he told me it was an exchange program between the Ebens, the craft that crashed in 1947, and us and our astronauts. I said, no, I've never heard of that, but I'd be interested in knowing more about it. So we went into another room after we left the funeral parlor with a reception. We went into another room at a hotel, and he told me about it. And I said, boy, that doesn't sound right. I mean, I certainly wasn't around back in the 50s or 60s, but what happened? And he went on to tell me that when the Eben craft crashed at Roswell, they found it. They had an energy device in there. And we knew that energy device because we still have that energy device. But the Eben 1 told us there was a communications device in the craft, and the communications device could help him notify his home planet to come get him, come help me out. And so over a period of about 10 years, it took the U.S. government to create or manufacture a communication system that could send signals to this Serpol, which was the name of the planet the U.S. government named in Zeta Reticuli star system, some 39.5 light years away. And we did it. We notified them, and there was a project to learn the Eben language. Now, Eben 1 started us on that. It was a very difficult language because it was tones. It was a very difficult language to learn. But he wrote down his alphabet, so we at least had his alphabet, all the symbols in his alphabet. But we, as a pretty intelligent group of people, figured it out. And we were able to communicate with the other planet. Now, this is what this colonel is telling me. Now, in October of 2005, Victor Martinez, he had an email stream that he used for a number of years, a number of people on that stream. He contacted me and he said, I have this guy that's contacted me. He said he was with DIA and he wanted to start releasing information about a Project Crystal Night. Do you know anything about it, Rick? And I said, you know what, Victor, I do know something about it, but, I don't know if it's real or if it's some kind of military project that had happened, an exercise, or, I could think of a lot of different things. Right. And he said, no, I know it's real because I've seen some evidence of it. I said, what kind of evidence did you see? I saw pictures of the planet. I said, you saw pictures of what planet? He said, Serpol. I said, who showed them to you? He said, this person that I want to introduce you to. So I flew out I was still working for Austin, Texas, and I flew out to California, Oceanside, met with Victor, and then I met with this former DI official named Joseph Yeager. Joseph knew me. I didn't know him. He knew of me. He knew my time in OSI and in U.S. intelligence. He had worked for DIA. He was out of the we call it no hat office in the UFO desk in DIA. And we call it no hat because their heads are so big, their hats wouldn't fit. That was a joke. But anyways, he said, are you ready for this, me to hear about this project? And I said, well, is it for real? He said, yeah, it's for real. I said, well, you got any documents to prove it? He says, come to my house. And we were at a hotel meeting in Oceanside, California. Right. So we went to his house. He lived in a really, really nice house. He had a cellar, and there's not too many places that have cellars anymore, but he had a cellar in his house in California, and we went in there, and he had these safes along the wall, probably, a dozen safes. And they were all GSA-approved safes, so they were GSA safes. And having worked in the government, you know how secure they are. Yes. He opened one up and brought a document over to me and laid it down. It was an Air Force OSI document. I looked at that document, and of course I recognized it being I had been in the OSI. He said, read that. It was a real thick document. So I spent the next probably 30, 35 minutes going through this document. I said, holy cow. I spent all those years in OSI, and I never heard about this. So I said, so it's for real? He said, it's absolutely for real. Then he started pulling out other things and showing us. showing me and Victor. And I said, well, why do you have it here? I mean, this should be in a file of a DI headquarters. How did you get it? He said, I can't answer that question. He said, and if you turn me over to the feds, those documents won't be here. I said, I'm going to turn you over. I said, is this still classified? He said, I don't know. And I don't really care. I want it out in the public.
So what was the most powerful thing you read in that document over that 35 minutes? What really shocked you the most, besides you not knowing about it?
Well, what shocked me was how they selected the astronauts.
How did they?
Well, they selected. It took them months and months and months, but they got people they had to get specialists,
Right.
The doctors and other specialists. But they went out and found people within the military that were orphans and didn't have any family members or weren't married. Now that's a difficult task, even in 1960, when this was occurring. But they found him. They found, I think, 100 or so, and they narrowed it down. They put these astronauts through an enormous amount of training. In reading and then listening to a tape recording later of all the training they went through, Special Forces SEALs wouldn't even gone through this kind of stuff. But they had to prepare them for a journey from Earth, 39 light years away, to a foreign planet. How do you prepare somebody for that?
Right.
Well, they tried it, and they did it. I mean, they according to them, they did it. And that was the most fascinating thing, how they chose the 12. Now, the controversy is, according to him, there were 12 men. According to this other person that became involved later, said, no, there were 10 men and 2 women. There were 2 women that went. One was a linguist. She learned the even language. So there was some controversy there whether there were 2 women or not 2 women. But anyways, they were trained. They were set up to go on a mission. And the Evans were supposed to come in 1964 to White Sands and Holloman Air Force Base. But that kind of blew up because the one Even craft didn't land at Holloman. It landed near Socorro. And that was the Lonnie Zamora incident in 1964. When they eventually found the right landing space in White Sands, it was decided that the Evans weren't ready for it. So then they scheduled it for 1965, and they were going to leave out of Groom Lake, Area 51. And the huge craft landed, about 40 tons of material that we brought on with us, the Evans took, and they went on their voyage, the 12 to Serpent.
Did we have any of their races stay back?
We had an exchange program. One ET stayed, Eben 2 they called him. Eben 2 stayed, and the R-12 went. And we had the communications device that we could still communicate with our people on Serpent. We were communicating with them, I think, once every 7 months or something like that. It took like 40 hours for the signal to get back, something to that effect. But we still communicated with them. And they eventually adjusted to the life on Serpent. And one of the problems they had up there was there was 2 suns. It was a binary planet. So there was never any darkness. It was always daylight. They took sunglasses with them, but the radiation exposure was higher there. The Evans were accustomed to it. They weren't. So every one of them had a radiation problem, radiation sickness when they got back. And that was one of the problems.
So while you were in Joseph Yeager's cellar looking at all this information, you told me that there was actually pictures he had of the planet.
Fuck. It was just getting good. Like, you said they had pictures of the
Okay, but I love is they had 2 sons. It's okay. They took sunglasses.
thing as well. That's a little weird.
So what?
Lots of questions. And this fucking Doty guy, this Richard Doty guy, shows up in a lot of shit. And sometimes I wonder if he's a disinformation agent.
Man, he's got to be. There's no way they'd let a guy know that much and then just be like, all right, good luck in civilian life. Have a good one. And just send him on his way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that they would off like media companies in cash under the table and be like, hey, you're not going to say shit about this. And give them a shitload of money, cash under the table,
Yeah.
untraceable. And he's from my guy's going to end up offing himself, if you know what I mean.
I mean, you would think.
At the same
that,
time, though,
like,
the shit's so fantastic that it's like, there's no way that's real. You know what I mean?
like
So
you just
who's
want
going to
to
believe the
believe it.
fucking guy?
Right, but I mean, here's my thing, though. If he really knew that much and had that much access, and then he's like, I'm going to retire young guys, thanks. You know damn good and well he ain't getting a gold watch. He's getting a gold bullet.
Yeah. There's a rhyme and reason for everything. If he really knew some shit, he would not be here. Or
Nope.
he might be just what they need. Like, yeah, let him say all the who's gonna believe this shit? It's
Even
so
the crazy
crazy.
people that want to believe this guy won't believe this guy.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the guy who was recording the video, and yes, that did sound like a bulldog for sure. Those of you that have ever owned a bulldog know what they sound like when they snore, and that's pretty much
That
it.
is a bulldog snoring.
Yes. But he had those messages popping up, and I wanted to see, what he was looking into, and I saw some serious QAnon shit on there. I was like, oh god, he is a fucking nut job. So I don't know.
I love the person struggling with the microwave in the background.
It's tough. I try to give, like, when I look at videos and stuff, I try to watch them with an open mind. And every time I see this rich, I'm like, he's just fat and so on about the shit that he says. I'm like, either he really doesn't give a shit, and he's like, what are you gonna do? Kill me? Okay, see ya. Like, I'm trying to figure him out. Part of me really wants to think he's a disinformation agent, and the other part of me wants to go, they're letting him get away with it because nobody's going to believe the crazy shit that he's saying. Because if you've been involved in enough of that shit, if you've been involved in enough shit within the government and you start saying all the shit you've been involved with, and if it's all crazy, then that just makes your whole story sound even crazier. It's one thing to say one crazy thing like, I worked at Area 51. It's another thing to say, yeah, so I worked at Area 51. I cash money. We went to this fucking alien planet for fucking 13 years. You know what I mean? It's like, talking about the names of the Ebby 1, Ebby 2. It's like,
yeah, no, I mean,
it must be the extra biological entity. So that's where they got the names. I don't know. It just, the more we dive into this shit, the more I'm like, fuck, maybe it is all a simulation. Maybe this is all just bullshit in somebody's sick game. Like, it almost makes more sense.
They're gonna control alt delete him.
It's like the ultimate, it's the ultimate mindfuck game where it's like, all right, I wonder if anybody's ever gonna figure this out. And like, at that point, I'm like, shit, I guess anything is possible. But I started dipping my toe into the simulation theory because the more we dive into something, it can't be a simple answer like, oh, the Earth is flat. Nah, I'm not buying that one. I'm also not buying the simple answer that, oh, there is no God. There is no. I'm like, I'm not buying that one either. There's something. I don't know what, but there's something. But as we get tight on time here, let's get back into these videos.
Guys, they found a doorway on Mars. Have you seen this? Just last week, Mars Curiosity rover took this picture. I don't know about you, but I really think it looks like a purposely carved doorway in the side of a mountain on Mars. But scientists at NASA say it's just a place two rocks fractured due to weathering. It actually reminds me of that one conspiracy theory about Mars being our original home, but we made it uninhabitable, and then we moved to Earth and lost all the history on it. That one's crazy. What's your guys' opinion about the doorway?
I mean, it's clearly. Sorry, guys.
It's clearly a
It's.
cough right in your fucking ear to blow out your eardrums.
I said sorry. It's clearly where some water dripped once upon a time. No, I'm just bullshitting you. Somebody cut that. That is.
I was
That
like,
is.
okay. This is the Anything's Possible show, Matt. So I guess, yeah, some water could have fucking dripped and made that. That's the government fucking answer right there. Oh, no, some water dripped over billions of years and created this
a
fucking
natural
doorway.
formation. I mean,
It's
no,
natural formation.
there's no Egyptian shit in the Arizona desert.
Yeah.
But no, that was definitely a. See, I don't know. I don't so much think it's this. I don't think it's a teleportation thing. I think that was just for illustration. I do think it was probably part of an old structure, sure, but I don't think it was a teleportation thing.
If they're even on Mars, they could be on Earth somewhere recording this shit, and they're filming around this shit that's millions of years or whatever, and you know the supervisors are calling them up like, God damn it, Barry, we told you not to make any fucking mistakes this time. Oops, sorry, boss.
I mean,
Like,
it really. I've heard the theory that the rover's just roaming around a Californian desert.
yeah, I've heard Greenland, or is it Iceland? One of those. Yeah, it could be. Fuck. The problem is CGI and computer generated images are so powerful. You can fake so easily right now. I was just having a discussion with my friend when she sent me that drone footage of the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I said it's hard because we're at a point right now where we have to start looking back at evidence that we've gotten in the past, because at this point, if somebody really wanted to, like, if somebody really wanted to get crazy for who knows what reason, you know, you're not going to make any money on it. But if somebody wanted to make a fake set of footprints, they could have them 3D printed. And if they had enough knowledge of the anatomy or alleged anatomy of a Sasquatch, and they could have a computer generated AI draw in the fingerprint, like the ridges and shit, the dermal ridges, and they could have fake footprints made. But the only thing that I still think would be a problem is, okay, you can go out into the woods, put them on each of your feet, and do long jumps, long jumps to create the gait and the stride of these things. But
Yeah.
how are you going to get the weight of 800 to 1,000 pounds sinking into the ground? But crazier shit's happened. So could evidence be faked very easily? Yes. So when I think about how easily evidence could be faked, when it comes to like them showing us Mars and shit, I'm like, I mean, you could fake that.
I mean, the thing of it is, though, if they went with they don't have to try to print out like giant, full adult male Sasquatch feet. Print out something a little bit smaller, something that would be in the 300 to 400 pound
That's
range.
true.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
a
that's
full
true.
grown. Doesn't have to be a full grown gray beard running around out there.
But
You know what I mean?
when
Like,
I see shit like that from Mars, I mean, it could be fake. We may not be on Mars. We may not have rovers on Mars. I don't
it'd be
know
cool
what
if
to
we
believe
did.
anymore. And that's why I was like, I want to talk about the simulation theory. It'd be awesome. I'd be
See,
Mars. I think they're crazy
do you
for
know?
thinking I think a lot's going to come to light when they try to send people to Mars. Like, what's going to happen with that? You know?
For sure. Do you know what messed me up? What messed me up really bad when I was younger? What's this make you think of?
What?
It's all a movie set.
Like, what do I think of when he says that?
Yeah, what does it make you think of? Like, does anything pop culture wise or anything like that pop into your head? The fucking Truman Show.
I mean, Truman Show, yeah, I could see that.
That messed me up so bad when I was younger. I was like, oh my God. What if it's?
It didn't mess me up too bad because I'm like, I'm
Oh,
not that
it fucked.
interesting. They wouldn't fucking.
It fucked
I'm,
me up. I was like,
I
oh
would,
my
I would have
god.
to be an extra cast member or something,
You're just one of the guys cruising around.
covering your wiener
Dude,
in the shower and shit. Like they're looking at me.
Oh, dude, it messed me up, man. I was like, oh my god. I hope they have good sensors because I'm gonna get real weird.
Matt didn't beat off for like 6 months straight. He was too scared. Yeah.
No, I made a point to stare wherever I thought they'd have a camera.
Could you imagine though? Like, say they're like going through with this Mars mission, and they're going to send people, and then they didn't realize that one guy's a little bit, or one gal is a little bit more open-minded than the rest, and realizes, oh wait, we're trying to pull the wool on people's eyes. We're not really going to Mars. This is horse shit. I signed up to go to fucking Mars.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a problem. You can only bullshit for so long before one deviation happens, and one person goes, "No, fuck that. I ain't playing along." You know, nothing ever
due
goes.
to an unfortunate accident, we lost one astronaut on the mission to Mars. Instant. It'd be instant.
No shit, right?
Oh, they wouldn't even think about it. They'd be like,
yeah.
So, what do you mean this is fake?
Oh,
anybody else?
Yeah. I just don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think about it, I feel like there may be something to the simulation shit, which kind of scares me because I really wanted to think that there was a God and that we died. But I'm like, that's a little too easy, isn't it? Like, I'm not sure I buy that. The simulation thing kind of freaks me out though, because I'm like, I mean, who's in charge of this shit? Why? Like, I don't know. But we're starting to get into what's the next video here? Let's play this next one. I don't remember what this one is.
What I'm about to show you is probably some of the most shocking footage I've ever seen of paranormal existence.
Let me just say this.
First of all,
I didn't think it was that shocking. She sold it pretty good, but we're gonna watch it anyway. She should sell cars. I'll say that. Like, first of all, this is the nicest car that's ever rolled off this lot. Like,
look, I'm telling y'all right now, like, I'm not a makeup expert, but god dang, she needs to practice lipstick before she puts it on for a video.
I mean, you know.
What I'm about to show you is probably some of the most shocking footage I've ever seen of paranormal existence. I've been a believer my whole life and been interested in the paranormal for years. Whether or not you're a skeptic or a believer, this footage truly will hit home. Wait for the end, because the end is what gave me the most chills. At the end of the footage, you can see a shadow type figure peeking around. Let me know what you guys think in the comments after watching the footage.
First of all, I have such a problem with the way she entered that kitchen.
Why?
When there was an alleged threat. She didn't check her corners.
Not.
But
sure.
I mean, all joking aside, my major problem here with this is when she entered the kitchen, she made a point to have that phone go from getting a full shot going in through the door to churned towards the back at the far end of the kitchen. So she left enough room for somebody to slip out for her to get that shot. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah.
and then they probably
Yeah.
hit a good point where they could cut in and edit. But I mean, she didn't give a full view of the kitchen, just to counter a little bit and then a little bit that way. But I mean, they could be
Easy to
real,
fake, right?
but super easy to fake.
It's fucking tough. And that's why we need to go look at haunted shit and go, look, guys, we're not going to fuck shit. And I owe these people, Matt, where if we see some shit, I can't run away. I got to get the full view. I'm always talking shit like, why does it always cut off when you see good shit? I've got to run towards it, like that Arab guy. I got to run towards it. La, la, la,
Dude,
la, la, just run after
I
the
want
thing.
to get that guy on the show. Like, I want that guy on the show. Be like, okay, so what was your inspiration to run full force of that demon and whack it with a wrapping paper roll? Like, what was where were you at in your state of mind?
Oh, man.
That dude's hands are rated E
ever since
for
we started
everyone.
watching some of that debunking. Man, I can't help but after we watched the video of those guys debunking the shit, now I have questions about every single short form video I see, even the long ones. I'm like, I would like to go back to that one crazy dude that had all the great crazy shadow figures. I would love to rewatch some of his shit. Aside from the midget fire hydrants and shit.
Yeah, but man, I'll tell you what, we found some good. You in particular found the great long story ones, and I feel bad because when I watch them with you, I'm like, this is fake as hell. Like that one guy where they're like,
there's definitely some bullshit ones.
The necromancer guys.
Now that one pissed me off. I really wanted that one to be legit.
They were so convincing. And then we found those two guys that reviewed their videos, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's full of shit. And I was like,
It's getting to the point where this show's driving me to want to go see for myself if this shit is real or if it's all bullshit. Because if I don't see some shit, like regardless of what you or anybody witnessed has said, okay, this shit's real. All these people are full of shit, but it's real. But then, if I find out that it is real and there's people faking the shit, then I have to be an asshole about it and go, these pieces of shit fakers. You know what I mean? It bothers me because it's like you're taking everybody who has seen shit.
You can't help but laugh at the fakers, especially when you're somebody that's actually seen it. You can't help but laugh at the fakers. Like, it's just like, ha,
yeah,
good try. That's not how it goes, you fuckface.
Let me ask you something, Matt, and be honest. If you had had a camera during the crazy experience that you had with the two things and your mom trying to open the door and shit, looking back, if you had had a camera, do you think that do you think your footage could have been convincing enough that nobody could be able to debunk it and that you would have the most convincing shit in the world?
Let me put this out there. I would, if I had a camera, I wouldn't even thought to have grabbed it to record it. I mean, like anybody can back that's experienced it. That especially when you're so young. Like, I mean, I know I was high school age, but still, that's a kid. I mean, you're not even thinking about trying, especially that era that like cell phones didn't even have cameras then.
This day and age, you would have had that shit on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, then I would have thought, yeah, let's record.
Yeah.
But like back then, that wasn't even a thought of trying to get something on camera like that. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh my god, it happened. But yeah, no, now it'd been like, oh, I think someone's in my room. Hit record. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
I think that, like, if I had had a camera on the one incidence where I think that something paranormal could have potentially have happened to me when I walked up into my grandma's attic and that shit flew across the hallway, if I had had a camera with me and videotaped that whole thing, it would be easy to say it was bullshit and could be faked. Yep. You know what I mean? So I'm like, shit, it's so tough. And that's why when we go out there and we do this shit, we got to figure out how can we make sure that we are not put into question at all. Nothing would piss me off more if we got some shit on camera that was real and we were being assholes trying to fake shit. These bullshit artists, that would infuriate me, dude.
Hey man, here's the thing though, you just got to prepare for it because people are just gonna call it fake no matter what.
Yeah.
You just mentally prepare for that. Like you can get grade A, best evidence of all time, and people are going to be like, "Oh, cool, so that's fake." Do you know why they're going to say that? Because movies have made such convincing videos and have done so much that they're going to be like, anybody with time and a laptop can do this.
Yeah.
And pull this off. You know what I mean? So all you have to do is know, I experienced this. This is my story. This is my truth. I mean, it's 2022. Everybody's all about their own truth. So
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to know this is your story. You experienced it. You got it. You got the evidence, and that's what you just got to be ready for, man. Like, because there will always be that person that's like, no, you didn't really get this. This is so fake. There's always going to be that group of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, here's what I'm saying, trying to build
That's
up to
true.
is I don't want us to go do this and you get disappointed in it when we get something and somebody challenges you. I don't want you to be disappointed, man. I want you to go out here and experience it and have fun with it.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And I know there's guys out there. There's people out there that could be they could have a demon balls deep inside them, and they'd be like, "It's not real." So, I mean, those types of people, they don't bother me at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the people that bother me the most are actually so close-minded that they don't believe that kind of stuff is possible. You know what I mean? That is what pisses me off.
Exactly.
Because some shit you just can't prove. Like, oh, prove it. Like, motherfucker, I was there. I saw this shit with my own eyes. But you know, when I see the shit for myself, and I know for 100%, 100%, because I mean, I want to believe. I want to believe so bad. I want to believe people like you and the people that I know personally that have experienced these things. And I want to believe, and I do believe, but I have to see for myself. I have to. So if I don't see for myself, then it's always going to be, you know, oh, well, have you ever seen anything? I'm like, well, no, but I know some people that have I hate hearing that shit. I have to see it for myself, even if it's to my own detriment.
I mean, I'm down, man, but I'm just saying, that's all I'm saying is just be prepared for the naysayers. Don't get mad about it, because when you fly off the handle to get back at them, they got what they wanted. They got under your skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some people get me pretty good.
I swear to God, I don't want you going to the auto archaeologist and be like, well, that's just some bullshit. I got this footage in 2005.
I will take some dirt from the Conjuring house and throw it in his bat face. Boom! Right there. Gone. Done.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
We got to wait for him to illegally park at Mo Party and just drop a jar in his car.
I really don't hate that guy. I just don't like him at all. Oh, no. If this is a simulation, that's a twisted simulation that they would create people like that guy.
Oh man.
Let's I'm trying to click on comments and my computer is glitching out right now because I have one bar of, I don't know why it says I'm on Wi-Fi when I'm hardwired in. But I don't know what's happening in the comments, Matt. Can you check that out for me?
They're all just kind of chatting back and forth about stuff. Nothing crazy. We're good.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's get into this last video. This is just a short clip of Elon Musk saying what I said he said earlier. I just like hearing it from somebody like Elon because, you know, he's so fucking rich. It's like, hey,
Elon.
Use some resources and prove it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. He's kind of crazy these days.
How do we know that didn't happen in the past? And that we're not in one of those games ourselves? I think here's, in my mind, like the strongest argument for us being in a simulation, probably being in a simulation, I think is the following. That 40 years ago, we had Pong, like two rectangles and a dot. That was what games were. But now you can see a video game that's photorealistic, almost photorealistic, and millions of people playing simultaneously. And you see where things are going with virtual reality and augmented reality. And if you extrapolate that out into the future with any rate of progress at all, like even 0.1% or something like that a year, then eventually those games will be indistinguishable from reality. They'll be so realistic, you will not be able to tell the difference between that game and the reality as we know it. How do we know that didn't happen in the past? And that we're not in one of those games ourselves? And actually, I mean, arguably we should hope that that's true, because otherwise, if civilization stops advancing, then that may be due to some calamitous event that erases civilization. Either we're going to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality, or civilization will cease to exist. Those are the two options.
That's kind of grim.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm enjoying his Twitter work right now.
It is quite entertaining, isn't it?
Oh man, it's a story for sure.
God.
But that's not this podcast. We don't talk about that stuff here.
No, we don't.
Darren, I mean, everybody's welcome to feel how they want to feel, man. I mean, he's definitely an eccentric fella. I'll give you that. But he cracks me up.
When he said aliens aren't real, I was like,
I mean, look, man. I mean, the guy really has no, like, does he have like a formal education? I don't know that much about his past, really. I know he's from South Africa, but I don't know where he went to college or anything.
He just got into computers, man. What his actual heard of it, but I can't remember. But I do know that he was a very smart child, and that he was kind of a loner, and just got involved into computer programming at a young age, and just excelled at it. And he's I mean, it's hard to deny that he's a very smart guy. Is he a globalist? I mean, it's kind of hard not to be a globalist when you have that much money.
I will definitely give you that. I mean, that's
Here's the thing, though. Is he so rich and powerful that they're like trying to get him to play ball, and he's like, "Man, fuck you! I got my own balls. I got my own balls to play with."
That's 1,000%. Because I mean, otherwise, I mean, the government themselves were sweating when he bought Twitter, because they're like, "Hey, we didn't email those guys anything weird that they would have saved on a server, right?"
Oh God, yeah. I think we've talked about it on the show, like a supervillain, or
he's either Iron Man or a supervillain. He's either Iron Man or a Bond villain, man. I am fully convinced.
Oh God,
I'm leaning towards Bond villain, but yeah,
it's for sure Bezos. He's down the he's
Bezos is for sure like the guy that turns around stroking his cat with like like, "I've been expecting you."
I know he's on roids. He's got to be on roids. I just wish there was a hidden camera just to see him get jacked up, like just hitting his ass with that needle, just putting this there. Fuck, I'm jacked and rich. I'm rich.
and he's gonna be like, "We gotta get this out in 2 days."
You know what's prime? I'm up to this ass shit in the mirror just to psych himself up because he's a dork.
The whole opening part of that leading up to dork was lost to a glitch.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. I was basically saying that Jeff Bezos is a dork. He probably does dork stuff behind closed doors, but he's rich.
Who doesn't do dork stuff behind closed doors? It's not, when you're that rich, it's not dorky. You're eccentric.
I mean, I'm broke as shit. I do dork behind closed. As far as the simulation, I wish we had more time, because I really. Somebody mentioned that we should watch the Y-Files on living in a simulation. I suppose. Hold on a second,
bro. We're at the hour. Like we let's jump right back into this next week.
Oh, you want to jump? You want to do simulation part 2?
Let's do simulation part 2. Your whole family's wiped, man.
We're wiped, dude. It's bad. I'm like wondering when it's gonna hit me.
Like, let's just stick to this hard hour we set out, and we'll hit part 2 next week.
All right, next week we'll the whole episode may not be on the simulation, but we will pull up the Y-Files. We are in a simulation video, because the Y-Files from the videos we've watched, they've all been really good. So I enjoyed them.
Shit, Scott's right. Yeah, no, we probably won't be Scott.
Oh shit, it is Christmas Eve. Oh,
yeah. Hey guys, we're taking Christmas Eve off.
We are taking Christmas Eve off.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. We appreciate you guys so much. Yes. Like, absolutely. I don't know if any of you have bought a shirt yet, but a lady at my work showed up with one, and I was so tickled.
That's true. Do they look good?
Oh yeah,
I
no,
think they
I
look
mean,
good. What do you think?
oh, I have 2 or 3 more
Quality's
people
good?
on my team at work. Yeah, the quality's good. She ordered the green T-shirt with GHOSTSQUATCH and Talking Paranormal on it,
Okay.
and
Hell
she's
yeah.
like, it's comfy and everything. So, and then the following week
Good.
is I don't mind doing a New Year's one, guys, if y'all are gonna be free, because I don't go out for New Year's.
Yeah,
So
that's very possible to do that one. And who knows? I mean, depending on if I don't get the flu, I'm going to be pretty jazzed up on Christmas Eve. And my wife and kid go to bed early. If Matt's doing whatever I know he's Christmas Eve for him. He's got a family too. But if I'm up, I may just fire it up and just go watch some YouTube videos just for fun. I don't know.
If I get the kid and wife to bed early on Christmas Eve and everything's a go, I might jump on and we'll just shotgun blast some YouTube videos and just have a good time sitting here drinking. But we'll tackle that as we go.
Absolutely. All right, folks. I think that's it for tonight. You guys all be safe. Enjoy your Christmas if we don't see you next weekend. And just remember anything's possible. And portal.
Don't stick anything in a portal. That's 1,000%. Don't do it. That's called you have to introduce yourself to the new neighbors in not a fun way.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? Maybe that's what we'll do on Christmas Eve. Maybe we'll just do an open chat and anybody can jump on and we can talk about whatever.
You know what? I'm up for that. If we get on and do one, we'll definitely do that. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Get your phones and your headphones ready, guys. We're going live next weekend for Christmas Eve. We'll